Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Looks over the middle, second guesses, fires, throws. Does he make the catch in the end zone? Yes! Touchdown! Oladipo to win it.
Another one!
He got
Another one! Another one! Huge hole! He's at the 30! He's gonna go! 10, 5, touchdown! Jonathan Taylor!
Galloway finds Rob Finnessy, who fires the three in.
He hit it!
Now, from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, here's your host, Jim Coyle.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Annex here in Portland, Oregon, site of the NCAA site for the Indiana Hoosiers, as today they will take on the St. Mary College Gales. Welcome aboard. I hope you're doing well and having a great start to your day. It is 5:30 in the morning out here, so you can imagine I am not, but that's okay.
Does this bring you back to your morning madness days, getting up this early?
Man, I didn't even think about that, but the fact that I was able to do that is nuts. I used to have a 6 a.m. show, and I cannot imagine that I was able to and I had to drive to the radio station. I'm like, so I was getting up at 5 every day, which is crazy. There is no way I want to do that. But it seems like you get a lot more out of your day when you do that, though. But that's okay as long as you've had more than 8 hours of sleep at 50 hours. But how's everybody else doing? I hope your day's starting off well. Matt Taylor will be on today. Bob Kravitz, Derrick Jackson, Chris Denari. Plenty of basketball action last night. Again, first four in action. Notre Dame beats Rutgers on a last-second layup in double overtime as they get in. Man, I didn't watch that game. I wish I would have. Did you see that, John?
Sorry, my microphone button, of course, acting silly. But no, I did not catch the end of that. But I did see it went to double overtime.
Yeah, cool. Wow. Get beat by a layup. That would really make you mad. That happened in Indiana against Illinois a few years ago, though.
And then not to mention, we've talked about this a million times already, but these two teams, not just Notre Dame, they played a double overtime game, the late game, and they're on a flight out to San Diego to play tomorrow.
Well,
so a similar situation to Indiana, depending on if they had any flight delays or not.
Well, exactly. That's the only difference. So it's crazy. You want to hear something funny? I'm reading right now. Xavier, and I'm going to talk about this. I wish I would have told you to pull this up, and if you can find it, Mick Cronin from yesterday from the NCAA. But Xavier and basketball coach Travis Steele, and I'm going to tell you, this is the first time Xavier has had a miss in probably 15 years. And they've had to hire 6 coaches in that, or maybe 20 years. I have to pull that up, Xavier coaching tree. It is phenomenal how great of a job. I think they might have done the best job in college basketball. Xavier, on replacing their coaches. Every time they have replaced their coach for there was like 5 coaches, I think, in a row that they had to replace. I want to see this. Pull that up, please. But they always hit a home run. They always replaced the coach with another coach that was being poached. And that is 5 coaches in a row. They did that. Now, the last 2 that have left, or obviously have not left well, Travis Steele and Chris Mack at Louisville. That job didn't work out for him, but a lot of times that happens. Man. See, I want to get that pulled up.
Speaking
here
of
we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Go ahead.
Here we go. Pete Gillen, Skip Prosser, Thad Matta, Sean Miller, Chris Mack, and Travis Steele. I mean, they had to replace Pete Gillen. They did so with Skip Prosser. They had to replace Skip Prosser. They did with Thad Matta. They had to replace Thad Matta. They did so with Sean Miller. They had to replace Sean Miller. They did so with Chris Mack, who got the Louisville job. They had to replace Chris Mack, and they did so with Travis Steele. But that is a hell of a run of making the right call. That's why Xavier's basketball program in the last, even though they've had all these coaching changes, when was the Pete Gillen there? This is a point that I had no plan to make today, but this is a great point against Indiana. This is what happens when you don't hire. Indiana is what happens when you don't hire the right coaches. But this goes back to 1985 that they have been making the right decisions. Pete Gillen era started in 1985. Was there for a decade. 202-75 record at Xavier. And Skip Prosser came in again. Then Thad Matta, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, they've been making the right calls since 1985. Man, that just puts it in perspective for me. You hire the right coaches. And when you have to hire that many and to make that many right decisions, wow, that's amazing to me. That's a hell of a job by those ADs every time. But anyway, we're here in Portland for the opening. Today is the opening of the NCAA tournament, really. I mean, you had the first four in, but this is the tournament. First four in is a part of it, but it's not per se, I guess. Thursday games. Today, I'm looking forward to seeing the number one team, Gonzaga, play. I'll get to see UCLA. Saw Michael Lewis yesterday. Was very fortunate that I think I already said this yesterday. Dale Davis was on our flight, but I think Indiana. I was watching Indiana during the shoot around yesterday, and they were just drilling 3-point shots. I mean, one after another. And I'm sitting there on the table at the courtside and looking around, and it's an NBA arena. It's where the Portland Trailblazers play, the Moda Center. And it has a much more big stage feel, kind of like Assembly Hall does, with the lights and all that. There's much more of a big stage feel. It's more like Indianapolis, where they have done very, very well. They play well in NBA arenas. And I think that they're going to shoot better. I think they're going to shoot well, and I think they're going to surprise St. Mary's and pull off the upset, which I'm sure Indiana fans don't consider it an upset, but I promise you, Vegas does, and the rest of college basketball does. And St. Mary's is a good team. I'll talk about them later, but they're 25-7. But here's the thing. They beat Bellarmine 73-64. They lost to Gonzaga all three times. I'm ignoring the comments, so I better get over there and look to make sure I'm not. Not seeing. All right, didn't miss anything, I don't think. So, Ross says he thinks Coach Yah going to end up in Louisville with Kenny Payne.
Yeah, Kenny Payne is expected to be announced tomorrow as Louisville's new head coach.
Breakfast of champions, baby, leftover pizza.
Also, too, a good friend of Indiana's is expected to be hired as Rhode Island's new head coach.
And who was that? Now I'm drawing a blank. I heard it last night. Oh, Archie Miller. That's going to be funny. That's where he belongs, though. He belongs in a place where there's no expectations, where you can be mediocre. And because when the expectation is to be mediocre, it's a hell of a lot easier to overachieve in perceptions. So yeah, that's just where I think he belongs. That's just where he belongs. That's enough on that. I'm shocked. Obviously, Rhode Island didn't talk to anybody. I'm going to tell you that. There's no way. Well, here's what happens, I think. Even if they did, even if they talked to Indiana's AD or whomever, I shouldn't even point out any particular titles. If they talk to anyone from Indiana, they're not going to say anything bad. They're going, oh, Archie's great to work with. Oh, yeah, it just didn't work out. But, the truth is, that's bullshit. Because he sucked. He absolutely sucked. And he's a jerk to deal with. He's a jerk. He does not interact with the school. He does not interact with the town. He does not interact with the media. He just doesn't have a personality. He's a bored, stiff human being. So, and who is not a good basketball coach. But good luck to Rhode Island. The Rams. I wish you the best. But, yeah, that's a subject that'll get me fired up quickly, huh? Where are we, brother? I don't want to go over. How much time we got till we break?
We got a couple minutes. Let me ask you a couple of these matchups today. What about number 11 Michigan and Colorado State to kick things off for March Madness?
You know what? I don't know enough about Colorado State, but I do know this. I was looking up. This is great. You know what? I wish we had an open segment today to do this. A friend of mine, Dr. B, last night, the top, still got it. The top alumni from each of the 68 schools that were in the tournament. And I believe Colorado State's was, oh, golly, she's not on Saturday Night Live anymore, but she just left. Tall, African-American, funny as all get out.
I think I know who you're talking about, but I don't know her name.
Oh, my gosh. Anyway, I think she's Colorado State's most notable. It's from the Guardian. Alumnus. But, yeah. But they didn't list the best of each one, I can tell you that. Which it cracked me up. Some of them I laughed at. But anyway, I don't know enough about Colorado State, to be honest with you.
One more before we get
but I'm gonna take Michigan. I did.
Okay. I can't remember who I picked in that game. But one more and then we'll go and get to break. Al Durham and Providence take on South Dakota State, the highest percentage three-point shooting team in the country. South Dakota State is. Providence is only a 2-point favorite.
Now, see, this is one of those matchups that you don't want as a coach. I feel sorry for Providence. What's the seeds there? I mean, what's Providence?
13.
Oh,
Providence
I was
is a 4. South Dakota State a 13.
This is one of those the Jackrabbits. Yeah, this is one of those scary, scary games because of the matchups. San Diego State. I don't care if they have the stat that you just said, nation's number 1 3-pointing percentage. That means they get the ball in the hoop, folks. And I don't think it matters. I mean, yeah, it's the better defense affects it some, but they can still shoot. This is one that would scare me, and I'm sure I'd probably pick Providence on both my brackets, and this one would scare me. And what's the spread on it?
2 points, Providence.
Holy crap. See? Now, how in the world? Now, this is when you know either the seating is bad.
Yeah.
Or and the NCAA has made a problem here. Why is this a 2-point game? This is a 4 and a 13.
It should. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Unless we have reached, unless we have reached the greatest of parities possibility, which we do have great parity right now in college basketball. I'll tell you that, and it is better, and it is getting closer. But I don't think that it's better yet. So
we'll see. But go and hit a break. Matt Taylorsbury, join us.
Yeah, but that's going to be a fun game to watch. Now I can see. I clean my glasses. Hey, we've got plenty more here on Indiana Sports Beat coming to you from Portland side of the NCAA tournament, where Indiana will be playing St. Mary's College later today, and I will be out at the Moda Center later on. But we'll be right back with Matt Taylor, brought to you by the Wow Club. Don't forget to go to your apps. Go to your app store, and it doesn't even matter if you're around here or not. Just do it for us and make us look good. It doesn't cost you anything. And get the My Wow Club app. My Wow Club card, rather. All right, we're back with more right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Whether you're visiting Bloomington.
He was there. He just dropped out, though. I guess I'll have to, maybe he had some connection issues. Let's see who else is playing. So we got Memphis, Boise State today, Baylor, Norfolk State, Longwood in Tennessee, Richmond and Iowa, Georgia State, Gonzaga, Marquette, North Carolina, New Mexico State, UConn, St. Peter's, Kentucky, Indiana, St. Mary's, Creighton, San Diego State, Vermont, Arkansas, San Francisco, Murray State, Akron, UCLA, and Texas Southern and Kansas. Jim, have you put a bracket into the Indiana Sports Beat Radio bracket challenge?
Not yet.
You have until noon.
Oh,
I guess
good.
9 a.m. your time. 9 a.m. your time.
Oh, it won't be. Oh.
Because you're
Yeah,
on
I got to get to that.
We've got about 30 people in there, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look and see how many we got. Yeah, 30 plus. Doesn't say exactly, but it says more than 30. I texted Matt, asked if he was having connection problems because I saw him trying to come in earlier, and then he dropped right back out. How long will you be in Portland, I guess, if they keep winning? What's the last day you'd be there?
Possibly Monday.
And then you'd have to fly to, is it Philadelphia?
Dude, I have no idea. I've not even looked.
Joe, if you're asking about the one for our tournament challenge, just go on the ESPN app and make one on there, and ESPN Tournament Challenge app, rather. Make one there and add it to the Indiana Sports Beat Radio group. That's all you have to do. All right, Matt looks like he's trying to join, still having connection problems, but here we go. I'll see if we can figure it out.
This segment is brought to you by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios in Portland, Oregon today. Hope you're having a great start to your day. We are.
Matt,
I am. Hello, Matt. How are you doing, brother?
You got me loud and clear. What's up?
You are smooth like butter, baby.
Just like
Smooth
you. What's
like
going
butter.
on? How you
I
been?
am. It's 5:30 where I am. I am in Portland, Oregon.
Well, that sucks.
Well, the first part of it does, I can tell you that. But I'm sure you know what that's like.
So you're running on fumes. Did they have enough room in the cargo hatch for all your gear, unlike Indiana's basketball team? Like, how'd you get out there?
I flew on a different flight than they did. Fortunately for me, they sat on their first plane. I had to talk to Don Fisher about that. I'm glad you brought that up. But Don Fisher yesterday, they sat on their first plane for an hour, then had to get off and be. Is that what it was? They didn't have enough room in cargo hatch? Because I never heard why. I didn't know why.
Yeah, I just read there was an issue with the traveling party size, and then not having enough, not having enough room, not the plane not being able to handle the weight of all of the luggage of the band and the cheerleading staff and things like that. Like, it's a big game of telephone with social media, so it's really kind of, you got to take everything with a grain of salt. But I mean, no matter how you slice it, that's a tall order. I mean, that's a tough ask to have a team win a game that gets over around midnight Eastern time and then have to be 3 time zones away to play a game less than 36 hours away, man. That's asking a lot. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, I didn't think about all that, the band and everything. Gee whiz. Holy cow. Yeah,
Did you fly out of Indy?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. I would think for the team then needs just to have their own charter. The band did not have to be here that quick. The band can show up today. I know. I think I saw some of the bands practicing yesterday, but I don't think that it's that imperative that they have to be here in time to practice. I'm sorry. Get the damn team out here on its own. Gee whiz.
Well, I'm with you. I mean, you'd like for everybody to be together if you can, from a logistical standpoint, from an efficiency standpoint. I mean, I sort of sympathize with them a little bit because I have seen how the sausage is made as far as these things go, because the guy that does all of this for the Colts, his name is Jeff Brown. He's the director of operations. And, there's all, I mean, in sports, in big time sports, Division I, Big Ten, NFL, I mean, there's so many things that we don't even know, that we don't even consider, that you have to take into the equation. I mean, he's got everything down to the science of, when the police escort's going to arrive, how many rooms, how many meeting rooms at the hotel, what time the meals are. I mean, he's got that's his job, is to make sure no one else has to worry about that stuff. So, I mean, I remember we went to London 6 years ago, played the Jaguars there. I looked at his binder, which was bursting at the seams. Like, his binder could not even handle all of the information. It wasn't like the rings of the binder weren't even big enough for everything that he had to throw in it, because there was so much that he had to deal with, so many balls to juggle, and you can imagine the international hiccups and logistics that go with that. So I'm a little bit sympathetic to everything that goes on with that a little bit, but the NCAA, what are you doing? Like, what kind of ball was dropped when you looked at that schedule and you said, yeah, we're good with that? Like, no problem there. Seems a little bit negligent.
And then, Notre Dame, who had to go to double overtime to win their game in Dayton last night, now they're having to do the same thing. They got to get to San Diego.
Yeah, same deal. It's a little bit unfair, but I guess, if the NCAA is going to look at it and say, well, this is going to be, it's going to be a little bit, the scales of justice are not going to tilt the same way for everybody. So if we're going to host somebody, I guess it's going to be teams in the first 4.
Yeah, I'm just cracking up thinking, I don't think the players are in there happy because they can't sleep because they can't get the band's hi-hat cymbal on the plane.
Well, I don't know about you, but I can't sleep on a plane. I can't.
Oh, I didn't. I got like no sleep. I was on the plane for like 5 hours, and
I mean, again,
and the
speaking,
flight was so packed. I had no room. It was horrible.
Right.
It was the second worst flight of my life.
Speaking again of that London trip, and we left at 6 p.m. on a Thursday for a game on Sunday to go overseas. And everybody kept saying, well, there's a time change, so just sleep on the plane. It's like, well, first of all, it's 6 p.m. I'm not tired at 6 p.m. I'm just getting off work. You're kind of winding down a little bit, but you're not ready for bed. Plus, I can't sleep on a plane. And as you said, it's a packed plane. It's a Virgin airline, monster. So there's really not a lot of room to spread out. And so as soon as we got to London, it was 6 a.m., 7 a.m. It was time to be up for the day, but I just wanted to go to bed, and I did. And we just weren't there long enough to acclimate and get your body right. So that whole trip, I was definitely off. It was not fun.
No, sir. And so what's new with the Colts? They're looking for a quarterback, man.
Search continues. The Carson Wentz trade became official as of yesterday at 4:00. So, the Colts are going to have a fifth different starting quarterback 5 years in a row, which is crazy to say, considering Andrew Luck's injuries and, Phillip Rivers retiring, Andrew Luck retiring. Carson Wentz just didn't work out here after they traded a first-round pick for him. So now we're just kind of waiting for the dominoes to fall. Everything's still in play here with a free agent move. The Colts could be targeting somebody in the draft. The first wave of free agency, or the dominoes, if you will, you had the Russell Wilson trade. Then you have the news about Aaron Rodgers. That was kind of the first big piece of the domino in the quarterback draw here. And then now Deshaun Watson's going to impact what other teams do as well. There's about 4 or 5 teams in his sweepstakes. And then you got teams with quarterbacks already that have to make a decision if they don't get Deshaun Watson. Sounds like Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns are headed for a divorce. Maybe that's what's going to go on with the Atlanta Falcons with Matt Ryan. It's really kind of a mess around the NFL, and that's par for the course at least these last couple of years, with teams jockeying for a position to get elite level quarterbacks, because the AFC has proven the last couple of years in the playoffs, you have to have elite level quarterback play to really kind of make a run inside the conference. And now with Russell Wilson playing for the Denver Broncos, that's the last thing the AFC needed, was another, premier quarterback. So we looked at the standings the other day of how things finished out last year in the AFC playoff picture. I mean, I count about 12, 13 teams as of right now, and it's only March that are playoff contenders in the AFC. So there's no question that it's, the most parity-filled conference that I think any of us have ever seen. And, hyperbole, but no question that every game in the AFC next year is going to be a monster, because, 10 teams this year won at least 9 games, and it's only going to get more difficult next season.
Hey, what about, there's 2 things that, man, it's funny how your voice goes too, and just for no reason, you travel all this. Deshaun Watson. The amount of interest in him is absolutely blowing my mind. The fact that any team would look at bringing him in is, I'm left speechless about it. I cannot imagine any organization would bring him into their community. And I know it's innocent until proven guilty, but man, there's just too much smoke there for me. And I know that having a quarterback is the most it's the paramount thing that you have to have. But wow, I would just think, and I know that, and that's the problem. These elite quarterbacks are so there's not enough that these teams do this. That's why they talk to people like that.
Well, he was proven innocent. The grand jury announcement came out last Friday, and then it was floodgates after that, and that's all the teams were waiting for. They wanted the legal system to, run its course. They were waiting for a verdict. Obviously, had he been proven guilty, then his career probably over. Obviously, teams would be making other plans at the quarterback position. But I mean, Jim, you're talking about a guy that in 2020, was kind of a dark horse for the NFL MVP. And I know the Texans only won 4 games that year, but I mean, he single-handedly won those 4 games and, kept them in a lot of other close games that they didn't just finish. And, I remember they played the Colts twice, and the Texans rather came literally 6 yards away total in 2 games from sweeping the Colts. Both times they were on the doorstep inside the 10-yard line, goal-to-go situations, and turned it over twice under 2 minutes to go to beat the Colts. So that's how good he is. I mean, he is certainly a top 10 quarterback in this league. Excuse me, I got a little bit of a voice thing going here too, but that's how important he is. That's how important this position is in the National Football League. And if you just look at where he's rumored to go, he is clear-cut upgrade over what these teams have. Sam Darnold in Carolina, Baker Mayfield in Cleveland. Obviously, with the age of Matt Ryan, he's going to be more of a long-term, answer with the Atlanta Falcons. So it's not a surprise to me because that's how important this position is. And now that teams know that, hey, we've got sort of they can use it as a scapegoat, right? I mean, no matter where he goes, he's going to have to answer questions inside the locker room. There's going to be a section of every fan base that's not on board because of the perception of him now. There's going to be feminists, obviously, that are looking at that just can't get over it, and rightfully so. I'm not downplaying the gravity of his situation whatsoever, but if you're just talking football, right. Teams would love to have him on their team because of how good of a player he is at the most important position in all of sports.
And speaking of that, what about the Aaron Rodgers deal? Looked like he was going to be leaving Green Bay. He was wanting to part ways. They're going to divorce, and now he has become the highest paid human in football.
Yeah, $50 million a year, and I know it's not going to equate to that because they're going to have to finagle some things under the salary.
That's cap. Roger Goodell money, baby.
Yeah, well, that's way more than Roger Goodell money. I mean, it's funny. I was talking about this last week on one of our shows. I mean, if you look at Aaron Rodgers, who's set to come back for 4 more years with the Green Bay Packers, if he ends up playing out all 4 of those years, Jim, they will have had the Green Bay Packers will have had 35 consecutive years of Hall of Fame quarterback play between Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. So like the Chicago Bears, right? Yeah. The Chicago Bears haven't even had one. It's nuts.
That is crazy. And I was just talking about Xavier University and how they replaced their basketball coaches. And since the 80s, that Skip Prosser and Thad Matta and all these guys, and they just kept hitting home runs, man. I'm like, wow, that's what you got to do. Green Bay has done that. They've been solid. Pittsburgh is another organization that's like that with coaching. Solid organizations. But, yeah, that makes a huge difference. Brian was asking what's your opinion on the trade with the Raiders.
I love the trade with the Raiders. That came out yesterday. Quite frankly, I'm blown away. I really am. I was incredibly surprised, but just blown away in a great way because Yannick Ngakoue is here now. That trade was a player-for-player deal with Rock Yassin, who's a cornerback. He's heading into a contract year. Excuse me, I got a little bit of a nose thing. But it's incredibly exciting because the Colts, they've got some boxes to check this offseason and some important boxes, premier positions, left tackle, quarterback, wide receiver, edge rusher. And, last year the Colts were a committee approach with their pass rush. And, they invested heavily in the draft last year with Kwity Paye and Dayo Odeyingbo. But at the end of the day, those guys were rookies. And Odeyingbo was coming off an Achilles injury in the offseason and started the year on PUP. So he basically played half the season, had no offseason, had no preseason, no acclimation, ramp-up period. So they schematically last year under Matt Eberflus, they were not a heavy blitzing team. So therefore they had to rely on their front 4 pass rush, and they just in big spots couldn't get the job done. You know, they didn't have a bona fide pass rusher. They didn't have that proven veteran guy that can get you 10 to 12 sacks and, you know, a big strip sack in a big moment in the fourth quarter. That just didn't happen last year. So I thought all along in the offseason the Colts needed to go out and get a proven guy to help, you know, bolster this defensive line, to help the development of Kwity Paye and Dayo Adengbo in real time. You know, and Chris Ballard kind of admitted that at the end of the season in his end of the year press conference. Maybe we needed a veteran to help stabilize the ship. But I didn't think they would bring in, I mean, not only have you brought in a pass rusher, a veteran pass rusher, but you're bringing in one of the veteran pass rushers in the NFL. I mean, Yannick Ngakoue has 55 sacks since 2016. That's tied for 8th in the NFL in that time. All-time leader in Jacksonville Jaguar history in sacks. I know he's kind of bounced around these last couple of years, but you can't deny his talent. And savvy move by Chris Ballard, because it's like a free agent acquisition in the sense that it's a short-term, 1-year kind of prove-it deal, because you make the trade and he's heading into a contract year as well. So you're not owing him big money after this upcoming season. So if it doesn't work out here, hypothetically, you're not on the hook for a bad contract. So I think it's a fantastic move. You know, Gus Bradley, the familiarity there. He was with the Raiders last year. He was the defensive coordinator, the head coach in Jacksonville when Yannick Ngakoue was drafted. So really, really exciting stuff. But now the Colts are looking for a little bit of help at corner. Yassine was a good player. He kind of steadied out a little bit last year, found a little bit more consistency. But now that he's gone and Xavier Rhodes and TJ Carey are on the open market for the Colts, they're looking for not only depth at corner, but also, you know, a starter on the outside to complement with Kenny Moore and, you know, Isaiah Rodgers, who's going to be a third-year corner for him next season as well. So that's on the to-do list. But if you're just talking about what's more difficult to find, what's more impactful traditionally in this 4-3 defense, there's no question it's pass rush. And, you know, Yannick Ngakoue gives the Colts some consistency and a proven ability at that key position.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, because that is going to be a fun way to watch this defense next year. But I guess the biggest thing is we're going to wait to see what they do at quarterback. Is this team is ready? If they get the right guy, the way they've shored up these other positions, this team can be ready to roll when the season comes around. That's
what everybody around here thinks too. You know, you had seven Pro Bowlers last year. You had 3 All-Pro guys. You went 9-8, and obviously the season ended very disappointing fashion. But you know, you were 2-5 and 1-score games. So it's not as if, you know, this team isn't close. They just need to find ways to close games out in the fourth quarter. And that comes down to, you know, roll your eyes at this one more time, because I've said it repeatedly, but it comes down to your best players making big, impactful plays late in games, premier players making premier plays. And the Colts this offseason are just in search of more key guys to rely on in crunch time.
Are you going to get to watch any of the NCAA tournament?
I will have it on the background today. I'll have it on as wallpaper. You know, free agency still ongoing, so we've been doing interviews with players coming in, and then you know, you're just sitting, waiting, and watching, because you know, these things can change in a moment's notice. I mean, that trade yesterday sort of came out of nowhere, and we'll see what happens with you know, the quarterback carousel, what happens with Deshaun Watson, and then, like I said, the dominoes after that with, you know, free agency. Is Jimmy Garoppolo going to get traded? What happens with Baker Mayfield? What happens with Matt Ryan? So on and so forth. So you just kind of hurry up and wait and get ready should anything happen.
Absolutely. Matt, I cannot thank you enough. As always, man, you are the best, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you soon. I was having a conversation with Don Fisher about you last night, by the way.
Oh, yeah? What was that about? Oh, boy.
It was all positive. He was trying to tell me that when he leaves here, he won't be missed, and I'm like going, you are out of your mind, dude. When he stops doing the radio, I said, I don't want to be I would not want to be the guy that they have to tap to replace you. I said, because there may be 1 or 2 people in the world that can do that. and by replace, I don't mean, you know, supersede. I mean, right. Just come in, and it's not, you know, how many times you see, you know, who wants to be the guy after Bob Knight? You know, Who wants to be the guy after whomever? It's hard to do, but it's going to be somebody. One of these days. One of these days.
Yeah, he's, I mean, obviously the best in this market, for a reason. Been doing it for a long, long time. And I think, to complement what you said, it's not only Don, but it's also the brand. It's the, the play-by-play guy of Indiana University basketball, right? I mean, that's like being, like that's like following John Wooden at UCLA because of the brand and, the perception of the program. There's no question about it. And plus he's been doing it at a high level for 4 decades, and there's some iconic calls and some iconic moments. No matter who it is, you just have to be yourself. That's the advice I can give. Don't try to be anybody but yourself. You're not going to replace anybody. There's going to be people that are obviously going to prefer the way that it was done before. There's always going to be people that revere Don. So you can't make everybody happy. It's like holding political office. Just be yourself and do the best job you can.
You got it, brother. Appreciate you. Look forward to talking to you next week.
All right, man. Be well.
Thank you, sir. Matt Taylor, the voice of the Indianapolis Colts, joining us here, brought to you by our good friends at Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington. Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. They're #1 for a reason. Get more to your door with AndyMooreHonda.com. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
An Evansville tradition.
If Kravitz doesn't show up, which he's already a few minutes behind, I've tried messaging him, and I haven't gotten a hold of him. I'm going to reach out to Keegan or Alec and see if they can do a 10-10.
Keegan is asleep. I can tell you that.
Is he?
Yeah, he's in Portland, Oregon.
I didn't know he came all the way out. I mean, I kind of thought he might, but I didn't know he did.
It's all right. I'll do it.
I'll still send him a text. I'll send him and Alec a text. I mean, I know we normally have Alec on tomorrow, but if he can do us a favor and come on today and tomorrow, that'd be great.
Yeah, Alec would be good, actually. Alec would be better today than tomorrow, to be honest with you.
You wouldn't want him to do both?
Well, I'm just saying. No, both is fine. But I'm saying if I had to pick one, today would be better than tomorrow. Well, not necessarily, because and I think that they will win, then we got to preview UCLA.
Do what?
I said and I think that they will win, we'll have to preview UCLA.
Oh. What if UCLA loses to Akron? The Akron Zips.
I don't see that happen.
Somebody's going to get upset today. Who knows who it's going to be?
Well, of course they will. Hell, it could be Providence.
Yeah. That's one that I didn't pick upset wise, but I'm regretting that
me either. It's hard to pick upsets, man.
There's some years I hit them all on the head, and some years I get none of them.
He would
know.
know.
I'm going to reach out to Keegan. He ain't going to be awake.
No.
Should I? Do you want me to text him?
No, he will not be awake.
All right, I ain't going to do it then.
Let's
see if we
that would be wise.
I did reach out to Alec, though. Is Kyler out here too?
No. I need some coffee. No, I don't want any coffee. I'm going to bed when I get done.
At least you get to. But how much rest did you get yesterday, by the way?
I've had about 7 or 8 hours sleep and about 50 hours, I think.
Well, then I guess you'll just sleep till you got to get up for the game.
Well, if I can, as long as I can get back to sleep.
All right, here we go.
RVs and pilots. See dealer for financing deals. Andy Moore Honda, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. Get more to your door with AndyMooreHonda.com.
Come see us at the all-new Andy Moore Honda, now in Bloomington.
This segment is brought to you by Southern Stone Restaurant. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back. Indiana Sports Beat Radio coming to you here on this Thursday, brought to you by Endeavor Hospitality, Southern Stone Restaurant, located at Patterson and Rodgers in Bloomington. One of the restaurants under the umbrella of Endeavor Hospitality, BB's Marketplace. Great spot to go out there, get some custom meats, sit down and have a meal. All kinds. Speaking of all kinds, that's kind of what Indiana's going to be facing today. All kinds of offensive weapons from the three-point line. St. Mary's has three guys that can shoot with a high percentage. A three-point shot. I forgot I had that mark somewhere, but they got like three guys that are shooting well over 30%. And they play in the West Coast Conference against Gonzaga is the biggest opponent in conference. St. Mary's biggest out-of-conference win, non-conference win, I believe, came over Notre Dame by the same score that Indiana won by. But this is a team that beat Bellarmine. I love to talk about Bellarmine from Louisville. Just moved up to Division I. They only beat them by 9. They did beat Notre Dame 62-59. That was back on November 22nd. But like I said, they lost to Gonzaga all 3 times that they played. No, I take that back. I did see someone mention they beat Gonzaga on the last regular season game by 10, which is correct. So I take that back. I apologize. But then a week later or so, 10 days later, it looks like, in the WCC tournament, West Coast Conference tournament, they get drilled by 69-82. So that tells you they're a good team. They've gone 2-1 with the number 1 team in the country. And that last game, you lose by 13. That's not a blowout. Depending on usually a lot of that probably came at the end, but 3-point shooting. Indiana's going to have to be very good on perimeter defense today. And I saw someone mention about the shot blocking. That is also going to be important. But more importantly, Indiana has to close out on 3-point shooters. My God, I see them too often. And I hate to call race out, but I have said this before, and I promise you, I would bet Race Thompson has given up more made 3-pointers than any other person in college basketball. I can't tell you how many times I see Race running out late to swipe at somebody who's already got a shot off, who nails a 3-pointer this season. Cannot leave these guys open today. Can't. Just can't. If you do, you lose. You cannot beat teams 3-2. And we know how Indiana's 3-point shooting has been. So you cannot beat teams by scoring 2 points to 3 points. That's why I think it's going to be imperative for Indiana to be out on the perimeter defense against this team. Yeah, I think like I said earlier, I think Indiana's shooting is going to pick up. Man, we all know how ugly that was the other night in Dayton. It was just horrific, but it wasn't just 3-point shooting. It was everything. Guys were off. They looked really good last night. They were having fun. I'm going to bet they got tons of rest after yesterday and just went in and relaxed. And like Trace Jackson Davis said, I asked him, and he said, it's one game, and it could be the last game of the season. John, do you have any clips, by the way?
I'm on the phone with Kravitz. Hold on.
My bad. But yeah, he said it's one game. and it could be the last game of your season. So you just got to basically man up. He said, yeah, our legs are going to be tired, but we got to get through it. And they looked good and fun and healthy yesterday. During warm-ups, they were going at it hard. So they'll get over it. I'll get over it. I'll probably be fine by today. So you just need a little rest. That's all it needs. And I'm sure that they got that. Pretty confident. Matthias Tass is a guy, started all 24 games for the Gales, averaged 30 minutes. He was named the WCC preseason team, all WAC West Coast Conference. He averaged 11 points a game. It's third highest on the team. He gets 5 rebounds. So that's one of the guys you got to watch out for. Number 11. He is a 6'10" forward center. He's the big guy. But other than going up against Gonzaga and Timmy and those guys, he probably hasn't seen a lot of what he's going to see in someone like Trace Jackson Davis. Tommy Coos is also someone. It's so funny. He's a grad student. He started all 24 games for the Gales and led the team with 36 minutes a game played. He doesn't come out of the game. He was just placed on scholarship during the summer prior to the season. He was named All West Coast Conference All-American, all academic team. But he's also the second highest scorer, 13 points a game. He also leads them in assists for the third straight year. He had 121 assists this season. He's a 6'2" guard. Number 12, that's a guy you're going to have to keep an eye on as well. But like I said, Indiana has got to take care of the perimeter defense today. That's what is going to be that and hit shots of their own. Indiana has to hit their own shots. But I think that they will. I think that this arena, that they're going to like it, find it more conducive to shooting. JS thinks that if IU plays the way that they should, that they'll be fine. And Trace Jackson will have a field day. Pete, yeah, we said that. Joined us. Flight delay for well, I hope you survive. Let's see. Does the 7'4" guy play for them? You know what? I don't think he does. And I don't understand that, because if I've got somebody that's 7'4", his ass is in the game just as a shot blocker. It's crazy what a guy like that can do. He wrecks offenses. Shimitori doesn't think that Parker Stewart matches up well defensively with anyone on their team. He either thinks Johnson or Coos will drive right by him with ease. Johnson is extremely athletic. We'll see. Parker did a hell of a job the other night defensively on the big guy, 6'7" guard. I forgot his name already. But I don't know. Parker, this may be what Parker has to hang his hat on right now, because the expectations of him were to be a three-point shooter, and he has not come through very well on that end. So if he can defend a three-point shooter, then you know what? That's good. That's just as good as scoring. If you can keep somebody else from scoring, that's like you scoring for your team. So if he can do that, that'll make a huge difference. Chris points out that St. Mary's only shot 26% on threes when they played Wisconsin. Yeah, Wisconsin's a much better defending team. But I will add you that, like Wisconsin, St. Mary's and Wyoming, St. Mary's likes to slow the pace down. They like the games in the 50s, maybe the low 60s, but they want to. And to me, if Indiana hits shots, that plays right into their hands, because defensively, Indiana, I think, is better. And you want to slow the pace down and up against that defense? That's playing a little roulette if Indiana hits shots. The reason Wyoming was able to hang around the other night like they did, because Indiana couldn't freaking score. It was that simple. They couldn't hit a damn shot. They couldn't hit Lake Monroe if they fell out of a boat. They just need to hit shots. And it's that simple. We've said that so many times, but I think that they will. We'll find out. Jackie's asking, does Geronimo earn a starting spot? I've grown weary of, and this is not against you, Jackie. Thank you for the question. But I've grown weary of the concern of who starts and who doesn't start. Because what you need to be concerned with more is don't look at who's starting. Go look at who's playing what minutes and when those minutes are being played. That is what's most important. Who's on the court at the end of the game when the game's being decided? I mean, starting, it sounds nice and all that, but we'll talk to Derrick about that. That's a good question. I get it. I used to think like that too, but I also understand that, we'll see. We've got lots more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat with the man, Derrick Jackson. Our morning dose of caffeine coming up here. Brought to you by our good friends at Southern Stone Restaurant in Bloomington. Stop by. We'll be back with more right after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Andy Moore.
Before I bring DJ on, Kravitz is going to join at 10:10.
Okay.
So we'll have him for the last segment.
Oh, perfect.
Hey, DJ.
Hey, John. Hey, Jim. Hey, John. How you guys doing?
Pretty good, buddy. How are you?
Good, man. Good. We had our last, I think, would be our last cold snap. We can do in Florida, we call them cold snaps down here. So we had that, probably about 3 days ago. It got pretty cold.
When it turns 50 degrees. When it turns 50 degrees, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, that sounds about right. 50, 50, 45. You know, that's when that's when they shut everything down when it's 45 degrees, like they do up north. Goodness. Everything shuts down. Oh my God, man. Gotta be excited about this tournament, guys. I caught the tail end of your conversation. So when we go back on, man, we can definitely have a conversation about what's going on with Indiana recruiting and basketball. Hoosiers are looking good, man.
Heck yeah, man. I'm looking forward to today's game. How are you doing, man?
Good, man. I'm doing good, man. Just getting involved in some other things as far as, trying to get some fishing going. I try to get back into the golfing. But everything, is going everything's going good. I can't complain, man. God is good all the time. He's good.
We'll talk about the fishing thing here in a minute too.
Yeah.
Have you caught anything?
Well, no, I mean, it's the weather's been kind of funny in Florida when it's not consistent. The fish won't be consistent. So when that happens, I mean, sometimes you'll have a good day, you'll have some bad days, but I'm looking for one of those consistent days where I can catch about 10 bass, at least 4 to 5 pounds of them. That's what you're looking for here in South Florida.
Are you in a lake somewhere?
Well, no, I live next to a golf course, but there's a very, very nice lake, probably about I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 minutes away from here. So it's pretty it's not too far away.
I'm going to get zero work done today at work after the first show because all I'm going to do is watch basketball.
St. Mary's is the next opponent, correct?
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
They don't play till tonight, though. They play at 7:20, Jim. That's the tip time, I think.
4 o'clock out here, I think.
Yeah,
so
4:20 Pacific time. That's how I remember. I remember somebody tweeting that yesterday.
Is that going on in Dayton?
No, it's in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, okay. Oh,
And Jim flew. He's all the way out in Portland right now.
They were in Dayton 2 days ago.
Okay.
All right, here we go. 10 seconds.
0961. Cheryl Sizemore from Remax Advanced Realty. Let Cheryl Sizemore get you in the home you want today. Cheryl at IndyHomePros.com.
This segment is brought to you by Remax Advanced Realty, Indy Home Pros team by Cheryl Sizemore. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat, coming to you here on this Thursday, brought to you by our good friend Cheryl Sizemore, Remax Realty. If you're in the market for a home in the Indianapolis area, reach out to our good friend Cheryl Sizemore from Remax Realty. Could use her 20 years of experience, could be the difference between you getting the home you want and not. Cheryl at IndyHomePros.com. Derrick Jackson on with us now. How's it going, man?
It's going good, man. Got to be excited. It's an exciting time, especially, man, for Hoosiers all over the world, especially when you're talking about Indiana basketball men and Indiana basketball women's. So it's really a great time, great place to be right now, and great time to be a Hoosier.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad. I forgot about the women. They played this weekend, kicking off their tournament run as well in Bloomington for them, luckily. So good for them. But yeah, have you got a bracket filled out or brackets filled out? Do you do that? No,
I learned my lesson about that a few years ago, man. This thing can go either way. So I don't have much luck with brackets, but I'm going to ride or die with Indiana. And I think our girls have a great shot, man, to really get our women, I should say, have a great shot, to go all the way, if you ask me.
Well, they were able to make a Elite Eight appearance last year, so we'll certainly see if they can get past that. Hosting at home certainly helps in the early stages of that. It makes it a huge difference because they'll have that home floor advantage where on the men's side you don't have that.
Right.
So we'll see. Especially you don't have that when you're across the country in Portland, Oregon. You certainly don't have that. But you know what? There will still be Indiana fans in the stands. That I can promise you. I know that there are some that came out. So and it doesn't matter where you go. There are always Indiana fans or alumni in the area, and I'm sure that there are still some here in Portland, even though my friend Pete is not there. Oh my God! I even forgot. How it took us till now to realize this is St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, it is March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. You're right.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So there's that. Man, happy St. Patrick. You'd think that I would have remembered that, but that's how tired I am. My name's James Patrick Coyle, so pretty Irish. But man, yeah, when it doesn't matter. I'm like, yeah, y'all have that. That's rookie day. That's
right.
Rookie day.
You're out there in Oregon. There's a lot of green out there in Oregon, so you shouldn't have a problem, man. Just grab an Oregon Ducks handkerchief or something, man.
It's true. I got to tell you, and I hate to say this because I know Portland. I haven't been here for a long time, but it was such a beautiful city. Right. That is not the case anymore. Holy cow! Oh my God, it's almost disheartening. Yeah, it's wow. It's you talked about the riots a few years ago and all that. Right. The remnants are just, it's unbelievable. The homeless they just live everywhere and on the sidewalks and tents, wherever. It doesn't seem to have an area, just like wherever. So that surprised me. But tonight or today, whenever you want to look at it, Indiana taking on St. Mary's in the NCAA tournament. It's their first time in since 2016, Derrick. They beat Wyoming the other night for their first win. Their last win had been against Kentucky 6 years prior to that. But I think they beat St. Mary's. I think that they shoot better tonight. And St. Mary's likes to slow it down. I think that plays into Indiana's favor if Indiana can just freaking score because their defense is solid and better. I think it's better than St. Mary's. and it will prevent them in scoring. So that's why Indiana just has to hit some shots. Damn, It's that simple. And they were shooting the ball very, very, very well in shoot around yesterday. They seemed to like the court, bright lights, it's an NBA stadium. So that's my take on it.
I think Mike Woodson has brought a lot of excitement. He's brought a lot of discipline to the basketball team. He had a couple of issues that he had to address when it came to player discipline. But just looking at it, I think we've gotten farther than a lot of people thought we would. And I think after tonight, man, you're gonna have some people that are gonna be some believers more so than they were before.
Oh yeah, I forgot about these guys. We got some comics too. We're in Portland. Talk about Green. I'm Brad. Who said that? Yeah, I'm Brad. Yeah, he said get some Portland Green and smoke it. That's hilarious. There you go. That would be a St. Patrick's Day special for sure, man.
I guess it would be. It would be.
Yeah, that's probably not gonna be good at 5:30 in the morning, though.
No, I don't think so, man. I don't think that for me would be good anytime, man. I mean, when I was in college and younger, I tell you, the older you get, man, the wiser you get. So I'm way past those days, man.
So are you going to get to watch other than Indiana? Are you going to spend any time watching the NCAA tournament?
I will. I mean, just to kind of take a look at some of the teams that we could possibly bump heads with. There are a lot of good basketball teams out there.
Well, UCLA. UCLA, who's out here.
They're good, man. They're good. They're
Indiana
good.
Gets by St. Mary's, UCLA would most likely be their next opponent.
Yeah, and that's going to be. I tell you, that's what I'm telling you, man. We're going to run into a team or some teams, man. That's going to be tough, and we're going to really have to step up to the plate. And just kind of transferring into football. Same thing with Indiana football. Spring is going pretty good. From what I understand from a distance, but we've got to get better. We've got to get better in that quarterback room, man. I'm gonna tell you that right now. That's the whole key.
Yeah, Eric asked this, and Jared Jeffries in Portland. I don't know. Why would he be in Portland? He's not playing. But speaking of Jared, the great segue, he used to be into deep sea fishing, and I know you're getting into. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He had a show on the outdoor channel.
Oh, yeah. He sure did.
Yeah. He was out there doing that for like 3 years or something. But I know you're getting into fishing. It's not deep sea fishing.
Not that deep. No. I like the old bass boat. Just get out there on the old bass boat, man, and catch a few nice sized ones and go from there.
Yeah, me too. That's back in the day, bass fishing was fun, and I could not. They give you a little battle, and it's you find some nice little pond somewhere or a good lake somewhere, and you got plenty of those down in Florida.
Right. We got plenty of those, man.
Eric says he thinks he's in the front office. Well,
could be.
I'll find out, because then he will certainly be around unless they're out of town and he has to travel with them. So, but appreciate that, Eric. That's I did not know that. Not to reach out to him. But so yeah, there's that. And so how's it going? How's the fishing going?
It's going. I mean, like I said, it's up and down. The weather's inconsistent, so the fish are not going to be as consistent. But when the weather gets a little bit more consistent, then that will be a lot more consistent. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to some consistency, man, and putting some of those big fish on the grill, or either put them in a frying pan or something of that nature.
Man, that sounds delicious. Some fresh fish up on the grill. Now that's one thing that they're known for out here. Hopefully Portland. So hopefully I'll get some fish along the way of some kind. Have you spent any time in Portland?
No. I never have, man. Portland, Oregon. I've never been to Portland, Oregon ever in my life.
Eric says it's Denver. He's in the front office at Denver.
Okay. Okay.
So I won't reach out to him. He's not here.
Right.
But there are plenty of people here looking to root for Indiana, and I'm looking forward to the NCAA tournament itself. I mean, it is – I'll be honest with you. If you're not working, I can't enjoy it working in this field. But if you're not, it's just the funnest. It was the funnest time of the year for me when I wasn't working. I'm like, man, I just love every game. And I remember I went to Las Vegas one year for the second round with some buddies, and it's crazy out there. Holy cow! It is one of the biggest weekends of the year. Is the NCAA tournament out there? Right. Those weekends, it's nuts. So I'm sure there'll be a ton of people down at daggone it, French Lick, going down there to enjoy that. So yeah, going out and betting, but Indiana people don't have to do that anymore. But for those of us that are Indiana people that are not in Indiana at the moment, we can't bet. So there's that. What else is going on with you, man?
Not much, man. Just going to get my day started here, man. Finna get out and about, do some things, look for some efficient equipment, and just run around and go do some things that I need to do. But hey, man, it's always good to talk to you guys. And Thursdays will be my days from now. And I think John told you that, correct?
Good. Works for us, brother. We
all right,
always
man.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. You have a great day and catch many of them.
I sure will. Thanks a lot, John.
Have a great day, Derrick. Derrick Jackson joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat. We always appreciate him joining us. Look forward to that. Look forward to talking to him on each and every Thursday coming up after that. John, do we have a time you want to break?
We can go ahead and go if you want.
Well, that's what you're the producer, baby.
We got a couple minutes. Let's go through a couple more of today's matchups while we have a little bit of time to kill before Chris shows up. Let's see if we can get some of your picks on the air. The third game today, we've already went over the first two. Number 9, Memphis, Penny Hardaway, and number 8, Boise State.
Memphis.
After that, we should be go ahead. Do you have comments?
I was just say Memphis is just playing better at the end of the season. They seem to finally get their crap together a little bit. We'll see. But I picked Memphis on my brackets.
Next one, we don't have to talk too much about all of these, but Baylor, Norfolk State, a 1-16. Do you have any Baylor 16 seeds upsetting one? I'm assuming you don't.
Nope.
All right, after that, we got number 3, Tennessee, and number 14, Longwood.
Tennessee. That would be that'd be hell of an upset.
Another Big Ten team, number 5, Iowa, and number 12, Richmond. I don't see how anybody's stopping Keegan Murray right now, at least in the first round.
Well, but you got to have help. But I think that Iowa's fine. I got Iowa going.
I'm not going to talk Georgia State Gonzaga. We probably know what's going to happen there. Number 9, Marquette. Number 8, North Carolina.
North Carolina's playing pretty well. They beat Duke at Krzyzewski's last home game, which is pretty ironic, but they're playing. They were playing better at the end of the season. So yeah, North Carolina's a team that could do a little bit of damage in this tournament. I'm not saying they're going to go super far, but I think they could do a little damage. Kind of like Indiana. Indiana could do. I don't know if they can get by UCLA. UCLA is battle tested.
Yep.
That's what scares me, and I don't want to jump the gun because we've got St. Mary's to deal with tonight, whatever. But yeah, I think Indiana wins today. I do. But go ahead. You got any more to ask?
We can go. We go a few more. We'll wait till Chris shows up. We got 2 or 3 minutes.
Shimitori says Indiana, Michigan, Marquette, Boise State money line parlay for 16-1 odds. Marquette. Oh man, who's Marquette playing?
UNC.
No way, man. You think really? You think the Marquette is going to beat this flat out, straight up beat North Carolina?
And
UNC's
Boise State favorite right now.
And Boise State, I guess you just do it for the money, but that's big balls pick right there, though. It is, but that's how you make money. You can't make money betting $5 to win 10. I mean, Marquette and Boise State are that's the money makers. Those are the money makers in that bet right there. I wouldn't take them because I don't think they're going to win. But it's not about winning or losing. It's about making money.
Yep.
So you bet to hope. to make money. So I understand the bet.
Let's do a few more of these interesting matchups. I'm not going to skip some of the more easier seeming ones, but what about 8-9, San Diego State, Creighton?
That's a coin toss. But I'll go San Diego State.
2-point favorite.
That's who I would take. But
we'll do one more here. It's an interesting matchup. A lot of people are taking the upset in this one from what I've seen. It's number 10, San Francisco, and number 7, Murray State.
Murray State.
And then we'll get to break.
Murray State. Let's take a quick break. Don't forget, brought to you by our great friend Cheryl Sizemore from Max Realty. If you're looking for a home in the Indianapolis area, make sure you reach out to Cheryl Sizemore at Cheryl@IndyHomePros.com. Back with more. Chris Denari joins us after this.
We'll be right back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Whether you're visiting Bloomington.
Hello, Mr. Denari.
Hello, I'm in my car.
I wish I was in your car. And you were driving me around.
And look who's in my car.
Oh, hey.
Say hi, Bailey. Say hi, Bailey.
Bailey, how are you? Hey, you know what? Bailey's not wearing a seatbelt.
No, I know.
I'm just kidding.
It is funny because my car will ding. Now I'm going back to the bank. I was trying to go to CVS because I can't find my wallet. You know, that's like.
Oh, dude. And you don't have to stay on for the whole segment.
No, I'm good. I've got one of those Ridge wallet, the Ridge things that you put your cards in or whatever. It's like a hard thing. And I was just at the bank. I had to go up to my mom's yesterday and help her with her taxes. And I go through her mail and I found a check. She's 87. And I found a check that she hadn't deposited. So I took it to the bank and I wonder if as I was there at the teller window, I had my little, my Ridge out.
Gee whiz.
So. I've only been 2 places, so it's.
Well, you know, last week at the Big Ten tournament, my backpack with my laptop and everything in it came up missing the first day. And I was just beside myself, as you can imagine. It showed up 2 days later, finally.
Yeah. Well, I kept looking to see if Bailey's laying on it or.
Looked under the seats.
The other day, this is the second time I've done it in like 3 weeks, and I thought I had taken it and it was at home. Dumb me. That's the only thing about this Ridge thing. It's not like a wallet. I mean,
let me give you a suggestion. Google Tile, Tile.
Oh, I had one of those. I know. I need to put it on there. You're right.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So you got it and you don't use it.
You're right. I did. Somebody.
This would have been great.
And now,
live.
Now I'm getting a Tile.
I laugh because I just recently. Oh yeah, when that bag went missing, I'm like, damn it! I got to get one for that. But yeah,
are you out in Portland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Great arena. The
Moda Center's great. Yeah, Moda Center's great. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Gonna bring us back in.
Hi, I'm Kyle Brinker from Brinker's Jewelers. They want to be surprised with the one-of-a-kind proposal and the little green box from Brinker's Jewelers, where every one of our diamonds are hand-selected by an owner of the company. That means every single diamond has to meet a Brinker standard on beauty and value. So if you're planning on getting engaged, your engagement ring needs to come in that little green box from Brinker's Jewelers, voted the best jewelry store 9 years in a row by Evansville Living Magazine and their readers, located at the corner of Green River Road and the Lloyd Expressway, or online at brinkersjewelers.com.
This segment is brought to you by BB's Market in Bloomington. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat, brought to you by BB's Marketplace in Bloomington, the former Wagon Wheel. Make sure you get out there and get all the specialty meats. You can also order online. It is amazing the meats that they have there. Joined now by Bailey and Chris Denari, the bark and voice of the Indiana Pacers, baby. There he is.
Bailey.
Live.
I'm on my phone.
Nice.
I'm not doing a very good job here. There she is.
Bailey's not into it.
Bailey's pretty calm. Bailey is 15 years old. We've had her for 13 years. We adopted her, rescue pit bull from the Humane Society in Hamilton County. And she was 13 years ago, a day away from being euthanized down in Kentucky. And we rescued her, and she's been a part of our family for 13 years. So
I have never heard of an adopted rescue dog that was not the favorite pet that someone has ever had. I mean, I swear to God, I can tell you so many stories. They always they say, well, they knew that they were rescued. They just had that feeling. But every time someone says, oh, yeah, it's a rescue dog, they're the greatest pets ever.
Yeah, she just she loves to go, as we say, bye-bye. And so on more than one occasion, I'll take her out and she'll get a pup cup from somewhere. But she's very, very mellow. Like I said, she's been mellow since day one. And she has a favorite chair. Like when we're doing our show every Thursday, I'm in my office. She's laying in her chair. But today we had to run some errands. So I thought, we'll do it mobile. We'll do it a mobile version of this interview. So she's just hanging out here.
Well, she's doing a great job. We're glad to have her, as always. How was Chris Denari doing?
Doing good. Looking forward to watching some March Madness today. I'll go down to the field house across the street like I did last week. The team has practice, and then they head to Houston. So I'll have a game in the studio tomorrow night. And then on the weekend, what I'm hoping for is my alma mater, Wabash, where I played college basketball. They are in the Division III Final Four, and that's being played at Allen County War Memorial Coliseum up in Fort Wayne.
No
they
kidding.
They play Elmhurst tomorrow night, and if they win, they'll play for the national championship on Saturday. And I will definitely drive up for that. And 40 years ago, I was a part of Wabash's 1982 national championship team. So it's pretty remarkable that 40 years later, when we're celebrating, that Wabash has a chance to win another national championship. So hopefully that'll happen, and I can be there on Saturday night to watch them do it.
I didn't know you won a national championship. That's cool as hell, man.
Well, we had a pretty good player. You've probably heard of him, especially from his NFL run. Pete Metzelars was the longtime tight end for the Buffalo Bills. Played with Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas and Andre Reed on their 4 Super Bowl runner-up teams. Well, he was our center back in 1982, and he was a double All-American in football and basketball. Played 17 years in the NFL. But he was a dominant Division III center. He was 6'8", 270, and we had no three-point shot at that point in 1982. We would have even been better because he would have even had more space to roam. But he was a phenomenal talent, and we had a really good team around him, a bunch of guys from Central Indiana, and Pete was from Portage, Michigan. Mike Holcomb was a senior on our team. He was from Andrean. Up in Merrillville. So, yeah, 40 years ago, Jim, I've got the ring. I always said when I worked, when Sam Perkins worked with us with the Pacers, he was on that 82 championship team with Michael Jordan, and they won the national championship at the Superdome in New Orleans, probably, 60,000 people down there? Yeah. And I told him, I said, you know what? I got a ring, you got a ring. You had 60,000, we had 4,000, but it felt the same.
Yeah, that's right. I guarantee it inside. You're not lying there, buddy. That's awesome. You talk about Pete Metzelar. I always say that about Race Thompson from Indiana. I was like, man, he would be a phenomenal tight end. He's 6'8", maybe he's almost too big, but he just got that size, man, that NFL size where he would do. I think that because I don't know that he's got an NBA career.
Right.
I don't think he has maybe overseas, but I don't know if football is something he's interested in. But his father played football.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was an outstanding running back at Minnesota. And, here's the thing about Pete, and he was a football player in college. He was a tight end, is he had such great hands. And you look at basketball players like a Race Thompson, you've got to have hands, you've got to have touch to do the things you do around the basketball floor. I mean, think about Marcus Pollard. Marcus Pollard played in the NFL, was a tight end for the Colts. He played college basketball at Bradley. I mean, he was not a football player in college, but he made the transition from college basketball to the NFL. There have been a lot of people that have done that. That have gone from the college basketball to the NFL. So anything's possible. But we had a great one, Pete. One of the stories we like to tell is we were late in the season, and he got the opportunity to work out for the Dallas Cowboys, and so we had a game on Wednesday against St. Joe. I think Pete scored 40 that night. He was on a plane the next day to fly to Dallas. He worked out for the Cowboys on Thursday and Friday. We were playing Washington of St. Louis on Saturday. So he flew in to Wash U, had pregame meal with us, breakfast. It was an afternoon game. He had not touched a ball in like 2 days and went for like 30. So he was an exceptional talent. And, we were very fortunate to have him.
Awesome. So how much, since you don't have to travel this weekend, how much time do you get to spend watching the NCAA tournament?
Oh, I'll watch a bunch. I'll watch all day. I mean, that's, sort of a rite of passage. I'll watch today at my office. I have my wife is down on Anna Maria Island in Florida with a friend. And so I've got a buddy that's going to come over, and we're going to have a pizza and watch the IU game tonight. And I'll be prepping all day tomorrow, and I'll have the TV on in my office at noon, watching games. So, I think most people know I was the voice of Butler for 17 years. So I have a deep history in college basketball. And so I just love basketball. I mean, last night, there was a great NBA game on, Dallas and Brooklyn. Kevin Durant hits a three inside 10 seconds to give Brooklyn the lead. And then Spencer Dinwiddie, who was a former Net, hits a three at the buzzer for Dallas to win. So that sort of started the night. And, of course, I stayed up and had to watch that Notre Dame Rutgers game that went double overtime. Honestly, I was hoping for a third overtime, but the level of play in that game and the shots that were made were phenomenal games. So if that's what this tournament's going to be like, I think we're in for a pretty good one.
Well, and I think it might be because I earlier was talking about Providence and San Diego State. That's a 4 seed and a 13 seed, but the point spread is 2 points.
Yeah, when I was going through my bracket, you have to pick upsets, right? As far as you can't go chalk, because if you go chalk, you won't win your bracket.
But so it's hard to pick the upset. You're like, that should lose this game. Like,
it is. There's gonna be some surprise that we didn't see coming. That's just the way it is every year.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so much fun. And I do think the parity is getting closer. I don't know that it's this close where a 4 and 13 seed should be a 2-point difference. That's either a seeding anomaly, because I don't know that we've gotten to parity where the parity is that great yet. But it may not be that far off, man.
Yeah, you follow it a whole lot closer than I do. I still watch a lot of college basketball. In many years it feels like it's 4 to 6 teams that can win it, right? That can win 6 games. I have to believe this year it feels like there might be 15 teams.
I was going to say 10 to 12. Yeah,
that could win the championship. It just seems, you're right, there's a lot more parity as far as college basketball is concerned.
And that's what makes it. That's going to make it even greater, and I love that. Who did you have picked to win this, by the way?
I went through it. I only did one bracket. Some people will do multiple brackets and they'll have multiple winners. I don't know why I did it, but it's just the way it happened. I have Duke.
Ooh.
I had Duke. I had Duke winning. I think in the one national final, I had Duke and Kentucky, national semifinal. And on the other side, did I have? I'd have to think. I might have had Illinois going. There was a couple of them that I went off the beaten path because I just didn't feel like I could take number one seeds.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
I ended up taking Gonzaga because I'm like, hell, I don't know who's going to win it. I mean, I don't.
Yeah,
to be honest with you,
they're due to win, right? They're due to win one at some point.
That's kind of. I'm like, oh man, they're really good. You'd think that, but who knows? But Duke, I got them getting beat. Just I forget.
But what worries me about Gonzaga? The only thing that worries me about Gonzaga is, and it's in your head, watching that championship game last year, how Baylor's athleticism just took them out. I remember watching that game, and I turned to my wife and I said, it feels like Baylor has 7 players out on the floor because Gonzaga just could not move the ball. So that's sort of stuck in my head, and I think it was Gonzaga against. Aren't they up in the same bracket with like Arkansas or somebody like that? And I just thought I'm looking at the athletes and I'm thinking, man, I don't know if they, I'd love to see Gonzaga do it. As a guy that was the voice of Butler basketball for so many years as the quote unquote mid-major, I sort of lean that way. But it sort of scared me what happened to him last year.
Yeah, and you talk about the athletes, and they play in the West Coast Conference, which is not one of the big top 5 conferences. So they don't get challenged by these types of athletes. They don't see these athletes this type of athlete on a regular basis. It's not that the West Coast Conference is a horrible conference. It's not, but there's a difference in talent. That's why they're not up in the top 5. So they're not used to being tested. And that's a huge difference because when you have to play 6 games, you're going to be tested probably in 6 different ways. The matchups are going to be different. You never know what you're going to face, whether a team with up-tempo, slow-tempo, guard play, perimeter, inside. It's just you don't know what you're going to have to deal with.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. My son, my middle son, one of our sons went to Butler, but he has a really good buddy that's a Kentucky fan. So,
really? How can he? Well, he can't be that good of a friend.
He's from Jeffersonville, so I guess he grew up.
See, that makes it even worse. That makes it even worse.
Because he lived in Indiana.
He should not be allowed to live in the state.
So anyway, the four fraternity brothers from Butler, they were able to buy pretty good tickets, so they're going to the night session tonight at Cambridge Fieldhouse. So
very cool.
I know they're looking forward to that, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to just watching basketball and watching the games.
Hey, last thing before I let you out of here, Mick Cronin yesterday said that he doesn't expect to have Michael Lewis much longer. And I think that as well. He's been an assistant long enough. He's been on a great staff there at UCLA, and there are some job openings. And Mick Cronin basically threw him into the candidacy for the Ball State job. He said, the Ball State job's open. He just like shrugs his shoulders as if, how can you not hire him? I mean, so there's that. And there's the possibility, and I hate to talk about it, not opened up yet, but Butler could possibly open up as a job. I hope that, I'm not advocating someone lose their job, but I mention it only because Michael was a former assistant at Butler.
Yeah, he was a former assistant at Butler with Brad Stevens. Another job that's open is Xavier. Travis King got let go yesterday.
Yeah, I mentioned that, and that might be the best of all.
I keep thinking, though, could that be a reappearance for Chris Mack? Could Chris Mack go back to Xavier?
Wow. I never even thought of that. I was talking about them earlier. There's never been a school that, in my knowledge, that did the job replacing coaches that Xavier did. Oh my God! If you look, they start with Skip Prosser, and then and it's home run after home run.
Well, go all the way back. Go all the way back. Pete Gillen. I mean, Pete Gillen was there.
Yeah.
So Pete Gillen, Pete Gillen, Skip Prosser, Thad Matta, Sean Miller, Chris Mack. And then Travis Steele, the irony is he was a manager at Butler. He's a Butler grad. And so I remember when Travis was around the Butler program. So, and that was an odd thing to read yesterday is they win their first round game of the NIT and he and the school opt to part ways. That was a strange one.
It sure was. Brother, I don't want to keep any longer. We appreciate you and Bailey joining us today. And hope you have a great Thursday. Perfect, buddy. We look forward to doing it again next week.
I think I'm good now.
Yes, there you go. You look great. I said I appreciate you joining us and look forward to talking to you next week.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Chris Denari joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat, brought to you by their good friends at BB's Marketplace, the former Wagon Wheel in Bloomington. Make sure you get the specialty meats there, and it's a great place to eat. You can also order online, a part of the WOW Network. We're back with the great Bob Kravitz from The Athletic after this.
We'll be right back to the golf club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Whether you're visiting
Bob Kravitz.
I'm an idiot. You know, if the show is at 9 o'clock at night, I would have been fine. But I put PM instead of AM. So, okay.
Well, I've done that before. That really pisses me off when I do that.
I know. I was like, what the? I wake
well,
up
I've done it enough that I don't think I will ever make that mistake again because it jammed me up a couple times. I'm like, that ain't never happening again.
Oh, that was really stupid. I'm sorry. Again.
Oh, I don't care.
Sorry, Bob.
Hey, I got some great things to talk about. Michael Lewis, I don't see how he does not end up a coach back in Indiana soon. I just talked.
Where's he now?
UCLA.
UCLA, that's right.
But yesterday, Mick Cronin all but threw him into the candidacy for the Ball State job.
Yeah.
By saying, he goes, I don't expect to have Michael Lewis much longer. He goes, I mean, you got the Ball State job open right now. He goes, I can't think of a better situation than that. Now you got Xavier open. I think
Xavier, right?
Butler could be coming open where he was an assistant.
You don't know.
So,
yeah, that's interesting. Oh, we'll talk a bunch about the game tonight, and then I'm going to pack and go to Milwaukee.
Yeah, you're covering Purdue.
Boiler ball.
I am not in Portland.
Well, you're better off because my voice is going. I can feel my voice going. It's just everything going.
Oh man,
that's a mad trip.
Are you in Portland right now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's early there, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
He went how many hours without sleep? Because you went straight from Dayton to Indy to out to Portland.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's not nothing that no one else has never done before. I mean,
yeah.
But you're not 20 years old anymore, and you weren't on a private plane.
Buddy, you ain't lying.
Like the middle seat to the West Coast.
Probably the second worst flight of my life. I'm not gonna lie.
It was really rocky.
Huh?
What was the worst?
I heard it was really bumpy and everything.
Well, mine wasn't bumpy. It was just full.
Oh,
and it was like I couldn't move.
Yeah, that sucks.
Oh, I mean, and you can't lay your seats back anymore. I mean, it's horrible.
No.
It's horrible. It's like, good Lord.
That's why I'm driving to Milwaukee. My editors are like, "You want to fly up there?" I'm like, "No, I'd rather just listen to podcasts and go in my car."
It is so much more relaxing. I never thought I'd say that.
Yep.
It's less stressful. Well, most
All right, here we go. 20 seconds.
Indiana basketball, football, and plenty more. Simply go to thehoosier.com and sign up. It's free. You can also find full episodes of Indiana Sports Beat Radio on the homepage or on the station every week, Monday through Friday. If we're not on a station where you live, we should be. Ask for Indiana Sports Beat Radio. This segment is brought to you by Courtroom Sports Grill in Bedford. Now back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios for more Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle, presented by Endeavor Hospitality Group and Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat, here on this Thursday. It is game day, opening day of the NCAA tournament round of 64, joined by the great Bob Kravitz from The Athletic, as he is preparing to head to Milwaukee to cover the Boilers and in that region and whatever else goes on there. Bob, how are you, sir?
I'm splendid. How are you? You sound like you've had a long couple of days.
Yeah, it feels like it. It's starting to feel that way as well. So, but you know what? I could be digging ditches.
Exactly.
I could be digging ditches.
Keep it in perspective.
Exactly right, man. There is no lie to that. It is the absolute funnest time of the year for me. Well, it used to be at least. But yeah, the NCAA tournament is the greatest sports spectacle. And I think that it has gotten the parity is this could be, I don't want to make it out of that. Man, this has the potential to be one of the greatest tournaments ever because there are 10, 12 teams that can win the title. And I talked earlier about the 4-seed Providence and taking on the 13 seed. Who are they playing, John? I forgot already. But the 4 to 13 seed split is only a 2-point differential.
South Dakota State.
Yeah, South Dakota State.
The Jackrabbits, man, they can score. They can really score. That's going to be a hell of a first-round game. I'm looking forward to, who's Davidson play? Michigan?
I have no idea. I don't have.
They play Michigan State.
Michigan State. That's going to be an interesting first-round game as well. I got Davidson maybe making the Sweet 16.
Wow. See, that's the thing. You got to pick the upsets, and Shimitori on the comment line was showing some that he had picked as well in your brackets if you're going to do that. And it's just hard picking those. What's is that the biggest upset you have picked?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't. I wrote it out somewhere online. I didn't print it out, but I think that's one of the biggest upsets, if not the biggest upset I have. In a tournament. Well, what's interesting about it, it's an older tournament. You know, I mean, usually you got a lot of one and dones who dominate, but because of the pandemic year and so many guys coming back, I think this is going to be an older group, and I think it's going to be like a typical NCAA tournament where guard play is going to be what determines games, and that's why I just don't see Indiana going real deep. Much less getting past this game tonight against St. Mary's.
So, well, I think they beat St. Mary's. I don't think they beat UCLA, but I think if they can hit some damn shots.
How long have we been saying this, Jim?
They've got to be able to hit shots, but they were shooting well in practice yesterday. I can say that.
Well, yeah, exactly. When the lights go on, it's a whole different deal. Look, this team is going to go as far as Trace takes it, and they're going to have more Geronimo type games, whether that's Tamar Bates or heaven help us Miller Kopp or whoever, Rob Finney, and maybe have a Purdue type of performance. They've got to get something from somebody you don't expect, like Jordan Geronimo, because Jordan Geronimo won that game the other day. He did. Yeah,
in many ways, not just offensively either. His defense was good. I mean, the one still when he took the ball out of was it Maldonado's or whoever it was, just took it out of his hands.
Dunk. Yeah, one of the greatest. It's a dunk / pilfer. he just took it right out of his hands. It was great.
And I love that he didn't try to block it, whatever, that he took it away because he gained a possession. I hate when I see someone block a ball into the fifth row of the stands. I'm like, what the hell did you do? Just
so they can flex.
Yeah.
So they can flex. That was one of the things, you know, and I'm not saying that I was old enough to see Bill Russell play. I'm not quite that old. But if you watch replays, Bill Russell not only blocked shots, but he blocked them inbounds, and he blocked them to his teammates to get the fast break going. And guys don't do that very much anymore. I will say Miles Turner, when on the occasions that he does play, is really good at that, at blocking shots and keeping it on the floor.
Indiana does open tonight against St. Mary's. What is it about that game, other than the inability of Indiana's shooting prior to this, do you think is going to keep them from winning this game?
Well, they got to be incredibly, incredibly efficient. They can't turn the ball over hardly at all. St. Mary's will play at a snail's pace. I was reading this morning that they are like 330 something in pace of play. But they are incredibly efficient, and they've got some shooters. This is a team, you want to talk about defense, and Indiana's playing great defense right now, and they're number one in the Big Ten, so that's kind of their identity. But St. Mary's held Gonzaga, the number one team in the nation, to under 60 points. And I'm sure that wasn't all just bad shooting by Gonzaga. And look, I realize these are 19 and 20-year-olds, and they're not sitting in the middle seat, eating snacks on the way to Portland with a layover in Minnesota, for a couple of hours in the middle of the night. But it can't help but impact how these guys feel physically as they take on St. Mary's. I mean, that was a bitch of a trip. And I realize that they travel in relative luxury compared to the rest of us stiffs, and God bless them for it. They deserve it. But I think it's going to be really tough to bounce back after a trip like that. I really do.
Yeah.
Against a good team.
Well, and you add to that the fact that they had the delays on getting to Portland.
Right.
They had to switch
right.
planes.
That's what I'm saying.
So, yeah, it's been a nightmare. We'll certainly see. You got UCLA is also in this bracket. As I mentioned earlier, talking about Michael Lewis. So I look forward to seeing them play. I'll see Gonzaga play. So I'm looking forward to see Gonzaga play. They played the first game today, as a matter of fact.
Is that right? Yeah. I mean, Gonzaga, I got Gonzaga winning the whole thing. I think it's time. I really do.
That's who I have picked. I'm like, you know what? In this era of parity, even though I don't know who's going to win it, I'm going to go with Gonzaga just because I think they're due.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. There's a lot of parity, but I bet you I think this is going to be like virtually every other tournament that's ever been run. By the time we get to the second weekend, it's going to go chalk. It's going to go chalk. It always does. It's going to be Kentucky. It might be Arizona. You're going to have probably 2 or 3 1 seeds, and maybe a 4 or 5. Maybe Purdue at a 3. Who knows? I mean, Purdue could go the whole way, or Purdue could get knocked out in the second round. They're not going to lose to Yale.
You are heading to Milwaukee to cover the Boilers. What do you see up there? What are you expecting?
Well, I don't know a hell of a lot about Yale. I'm going to do a little research once I drive up there.
I hear it's a pretty good college.
That's what they say. I couldn't get in. I didn't even try to get in.
I couldn't get into Gates.
New Jersey Institute of Technology. Yeah, I couldn't get into that one either. Look, I think they should be able to take care of their first round opponent. Second round opponent probably be Texas, and they're a pretty good team, and they've got a hell of a coach in Beard. That would be interesting because Beard coached that Arkansas Little Rock team that beat Purdue many years ago. I think I'm getting this right. If I'm not, I don't have the thing in front of me, the brackets in front of me, but I think they'd probably take on Texas, and Beard, Little Rock. That's going to bring back some old memories.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that. Who else up in that bracket are you looking forward to seeing?
That's a good question because I don't have it in front of me.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Jim.
No, me either. I'm the same way. But yeah, I like to because you get sometimes you'll get a sense of who's going to go where and do what once, even though it's not the team you're covering or not. So that's why I'm looking forward to seeing Gonzaga play. Looking forward to see UCLA play and how those go forward from there. Indiana's ended their season, ironically, getting their first tournament win in 6 years in Dayton. And I believe it was 1 year.
David Archie Miller was
1 year to the day.
1 year to the day.
How ironic. Can it be any more irony?
In Dayton. So, yeah, now I'm seeing where Sean Miller might make a comeback. God help us all.
No, I thought it was Archie Miller.
No, I know it was Sean Miller.
Archie is favored to be a top candidate for the Rhode Island job, is what Jim is getting at.
I know Sean's also up for a couple of jobs too.
What jobs are he up for?
I forgot. I thought I read that somewhere, but
I just said I have no idea what the hell Rhode Island is thinking, or they have spoken to no one, or when they speak to the people in Indiana, they're going to say, well, he's a nice guy, he was great to work with, but how can they not look at what these players have said and the results that was there and all of that and buy his BS? He's the word. He is the, as a human, he's someone that I have the least desire to be around in the world. No desire to be around.
Yeah, no, I agree. I remember when he was introduced to Indiana, and he didn't crack a smile the whole time. I thought, this guy is just a dead fish. Look, Rhode Island is probably about the level. They're A-10, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. That's probably the level where Archie can do well. I mean, He did well at Dayton. And just because he failed at Indiana doesn't mean he's going to fail everywhere. I mean, a lot of coaches learn from their mistakes. I don't know that Archie will. But I think Rhode Island would probably be an interesting spot for him. I'm curious what's going to happen to my friend Tom Crean. He just got let go at Georgia. So where the hell is he? I told him he should write a book, but he doesn't listen to me.
ESPN.
Quite probably.
I mean, I'm shocked that has not already been announced. I'm shocked that he didn't join him for the NCAA tournament. Well, for that. Coaching-wise, I don't know where he would go. I mean, he would have to do the Tubby Smith thing. Yeah. Where you just really step down. Dang, gone.
A lot of people want him at Evansville. Is that job open?
Oh, what a disaster.
The Purple Aces.
What a disaster after Walter McCarty. Is Evansville open right now?
I think that job's open. I can't confirm that, but I can try to confirm it here real quick.
Yeah, I thought that Licklider was there, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, he just filled that or like a year ago.
I'm wrong.
From the former Butler guy. No, I think you're right. I think you are correct.
Excuse the sun shining in my beautiful face, but
I love that. It's just a
kind of a look. Well,
it's a beautiful day because the NCAA tournament is getting underway. I'm looking forward to that.
If I needed a vasectomy, I would have gotten one yesterday. Let's just put it that way, so that I could sit on the couch for a couple of days and do nothing but watch basketball.
I was wondering where that was going. I was like, where in the world is he going with that?
Have you heard those ads, Jim?
No.
Get a vasectomy now so you can sit on the couch for 3 days and watch basketball.
No, I didn't. I missed that. That. I have not. Oh my gosh.
In a completely different direction.
Oh, yep. Well, buddy, I appreciate it. I know you've been busy and are going to be busy. So what are you leaving here shortly?
Yes, I'm going to go pack and get some of these hockey hats out and go up to frigid Milwaukee and watch some Purdue hoops. And then if they win, I think we're on to Philadelphia.
I had a stop in Minneapolis, St. Paul. It's 72 degrees there, right, today?
Right. It's nice right now, but it's going to be cold this weekend.
Yeah. Well, we got to Minneapolis, and I'm looking down, and all the water down there, it was all frozen.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like,
oh, yeah. They're expecting summer up there on July 26th.
That's the rumor. That's just the rumor.
Yeah.
Well, buddy, I cannot thank you enough. Go Pack. Safe travels. How long of a drive is it up to Milwaukee? 6 hours?
It's about 4.5. About 4.5.
About 4.5. That's right. I was thinking from further down. Yeah, that's not bad at all, man. Leisurely drive.
Podcast, listen to some blues, a little reggae. I'll be happy.
Yep, you'll have the blues out, my man. Bob Kravitz joining us from The Athletic. Make sure you give him a follow, subscribe. I do as well. Bob, thank you, sir. Be safe. Look forward to talking to you again.
Sounds good, buddy.
Thank you, sir. Bob Kravitz joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat to kind of close out the day here is Indiana will take on St. Mary's this afternoon or this evening for you guys at 7, whatever time it is. They seem like they fluctuate a
7:20.
7:20. They try to, and that's a game coming out of a break, so that game should start on time. They play the first game of that. There's 2 games before that. The day, I think
UNC Marquette and then Gonzaga and Georgia State.
Well, I'm at here in Portland.
That's in Portland.
North Carolina's in Portland?
Yep.
Really?
Unless I'm completely mistaken, but they're in the same region as Marquette and them. I know that for a fact. So, no,
Yeah,
hold on, that's wrong.
They're not.
I'm wrong.
They're not in Portland.
They're in
I was gonna
Baylor's
say.
region.
They're not in
I'm
Portland.
wrong.
I was going to say, but Gonzaga plays the first game today. That kind of sucks because I don't want to go out there all day, but I want to see Gonzaga play.
Here, wrap it up. I just realized we're almost over.
All right, guys, I hope you have a great day. I cannot thank you enough. Big thanks to everybody that joined us today. Of course, the great Bob Kravitz, who we just finished with, Matt Taylor, Derrick Jackson, Chris Denari, and Bailey. Don't forget about Bailey. Big thanks to John, the producer. Done an outstanding job all week helping us get through all of this craziness of travel. We could not have done it without him, I promise you guys. And most importantly, thanks to you guys. Without you, we have no reason to be here. We're so fortunate for you. We're back again to do this again, possibly a post-game show. I guess we haven't talked about that today. Hopefully I'll have a voice. And until then, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.